Hmm. You know what? I can't even be mad. Let's do it. Consider this a part two. That was a different intro just because I wanted to give that man some credit because this is his idea and I kind of liked it. So, if you are wondering what the Tenet Glaxion did against, Mott Steel Path, that'll be in the iCard at the top, right? You can go watch that, come back to here, watch this first. But it doesn't really matter. I'm not going to go over the build again. I've already done it once. It's a gas build. It's weird, I know. But let's happen to that Netra cell. And by that, I mean a deep Archimedia with elite Archimedia, meaning that these are going to be high-level enemies. I'm not worrying about the individual parameters, but we are going to have all the challenges on. So, with that being said, let's do this. So, I know that was a different beginning, but hey, this should be interesting, especially since we have Powerless on, which means that at least for a little while, you'll just get to see what this thing performs like. It ain't going to be hot, right? Mainly because I'm not running radiation, because I forgot to run radiation. But against not heavily armored targets, does wonderfully. I've definitely seen this thing do better. Once we get 50 targets done, then the ability buffs come in, and we'll be fine, which will be a second. Of course, it's still dealing damage, but, I'll skip ahead. You can see what this is doing. We'll skip ahead when I have abilities. A side note while I'm doing this, keep in mind that this is also not radiation. This is a gas cold build, and it's still doing this level 300 400s. Just want to throw that out there. Imagine what happens when armor gets decreased universally. It's going to be pretty baller. Well, that took long enough. So, with that being said, with abilities, yes, I used Tesla Nervos on her. It's a little bonkers. She's able to debuff. I used to have Viral or Nourish on her, but abilities don't really need... I didn't need the energy because I pop my Zoo, and then everything works fine. And now it's, everything's instantly dying. Because I need you to stand still. Yeah, I summoned the fucking on-call crewmate, and no one can stop me. Oh, you think son of a bitch. This is a terrible, terrible representation of what this weapon can do. It's also not helping that this fucker's like spinning in circles, and I can't really hit him. Alright, is this just like he's tanky? Yeah, no, this is just he's like really fucking tanky for no reason. Weird. I don't know why that man was so fucking tanky, but he was. But like I said, I mean, it's definitely not as good as it can be. We'll end up doing this again after the status and armor changes, because that's when this thing is probably going to absolutely show up and just absolutely whoop ass. Is when those changes come. Given the fact that, cold is going to give crit damage bonus, and this thing already has big crit damage and crit chance. Given the fact that gas is changing, armor is changing, and armor is really my only weakness here. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. So it's definitely going to be something interesting. But this was meant to be like a little... I wanted this to be a little shorter one. Where, I mean, like, it was just that guy gave that comment, and I'm like, you know what? I fuck with it. I like that idea. So here we are showing it here. And it's definitely not your strongest weapon right now. Right? Not in this. Granted, I'm also running a gas build. I'm sure if I ran a meta build that had, like, corrosive and radiation on it, this would absolutely fucking just smack. Right? But I'm not going to do that, because that's not interesting. Granted, the fact that I'm running a Netra Cell, which I'm going to start doing now instead of doing, like, Mott Void, I'll start running Netra Cells, because I like that idea where it's like, it's not like I'm running a disruption until they reach level 9,999. I'm like, oh, does it work? That's not something many players do, right? That's a small portion of players. But something that more players will end up doing is these elite Archimedias, and I want them to see whether their weapon's viable or not. And if you build this thing to, you know, actually deal with these enemies, 100% this thing does not give a shit about anything. Right? But I'm running a gas build because I'm being goofy. I like gas, and once things get changed around with the statuses, it'll work perfectly fine. But I think that's all. Because, I mean, like, I don't care much for the Elite Archimedia, right? I don't play it very often. It's not my forte. And also, I'm about to fucking get absolutely gobsmacked here because I stopped paying attention. Because, again, I don't care. But I'll see you guys in the next one.
I'm sorry to say we
because,
complete hash of this.
Yeah, I think the gun is extremely viable in this if you build it properly. Which, again, I was running a gas build, and it was still killing them pretty well.
We've had
You want corrosive
setbacks.
You know what? I'll just do that. I'll make a quick corrosive radiation build. I'll be right back. So because this is a different build that I actually haven't ever used, here's what I'm going to try and run, and we'll see how it performs. Galvanized chamber, aptitude scope, hammer shot, vital synth, malignant, high voltage, and radiated reload. Now let's try this. Now it's time for the moment of truth.
And from there, the manner. Phase 1, repel assault. Phase 2, to be initiated on the move.
I mean, the things that take corrosive die quicker. Radiation's a little helpful. Very helpful. Unfortunately, I have blast because I wanted this thing to be built for gas damage. So when I run blast or when I run corrosive, I get blast instead of cold, which is a shame, but that's what I get. We're deciding to get a heat-based fucking Glaxion. So it definitely ain't performing the best, especially with that 25%. Surprise, surprise. Got unlucky with it. But with what it is doing, for what I have, ironically enough, straight up looks like my gas build's doing better. So that'll be the end of this one. I just wanted to show this, see whether it worked or not. And I mean, we already know it'll perform better with my abilities, right? This is no surprise. Right? We know it'll perform better with my abilities. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you for the suggestion, my man. I forgot what your name is, but you're at the beginning. And I'll see you guys in the next one, where we play maybe something else. I'm not 100% sure, but again, thank you for the suggestion. It was a great suggestion. I'm probably going to start doing this whenever I showcase weapons instead, as I'm going to go into the Elite Archimedia. I'll see you guys in the next one, where hopefully the Glaxion's stronger because statuses and armors are changed. Deuces, boys. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It always helps.